Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Hey, welcome to the Jackie and Laurie Show.
I cannot tell you how happy I am how you start the show. Laurie Kilmartin.
Welcome.
Welcome. I'm Jackie Cation.
I'm Laurie Kilmartin. You're like, I'm not going to tell the story.
I'm not going to tell the story, and then you were like, oh,
to tell
you have to tell the story. And then I'm like, well, fine. Well, we have an opinion whether this is the best story.
Spill it, no pun intended.
Jesus Christ. I just said out loud to Laurie and Kyle, in between the first and second show, Saturday in Burlington, Vermont, I got my period.
High five. High five.
You would like a high five from
Dude,
me?
you're still getting periods.
Well, and the power of the sun. The thing gushed out of me. I couldn't move. I was wearing Yeah, because I'm going through my middle-aged lady time, which I am consistently referring to as the Terrigen Mists, to nobody's interest, by the way, on the road. That joke is for Kyle. But the thing is, so I had a tampon and a pad.
Oh, my God.
And I couldn't move because every time I moved, I felt myself
loose
going.
And shit?
Yep.
Oh, no.
And so there was no
what color
physical.
pants were you wearing?
Black.
Okay.
Black pants. Thank
you
you,
expecting?
God.
Is it?
No. Well, with the middle-aged lady time, a lot of people, it slows down or it stops. Not this one. This one, it comes and goes on its own fucking schedule. And, I don't even know what to.
So you constantly travel in fear. You never
I live
know.
in fear. I live in fear, you guys.
I had that
thank
happened.
God,
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. Yeah.
Did you between shows? So what'd you do? Did you have stuff with you? Enough with you?
Well, luckily the Vermont Comedy Club, which by the way is an amazing comedy club, you have to do it. It's so funny because
I'd love to.
Yeah,
I never turned down a gig.
You wouldn't turn down the gig, and they said that they love you, but they've asked. And
asked who?
They said that they tried to get you last year when they were doing just weekend nights, and now they have this club's only been open 6 months.
Who did they? Is there somebody pretending to represent me that's turning down every gig and every fucking special?
Well, then let me get you in touch with Nathan, and Natalie. Nathan, by the way, had the greatest story about opening this club. That for 3 years in Burlington, Vermont, they would do sort of one-nighters, or they would bring people like Mike Kaplan or New York comics up to do weekends and stuff, and just for wallet in different places. And then they raised money to open a club underneath the Hilton Garden. So you stay at the Hilton Garden, walk downstairs.
I want this so
it's
bad.
the greatest. And the audience is, of course, it's college town. It's like the set of Gilmore Girls. You're essentially, Burlington, Vermont has 42,000 people in it.
Yeah.
And it is what Gilmore Girls was trying to go for.
Wow.
So it's an adorable, it looks like Mill Valley, but what Mill Valley wants to be, which is in New England.
Wow.
And so that's what it, and they raised this money
for your tampons.
No, they raised this money for the club, right? Yes. You want to talk about my period some more?
Man, that's a pretty good joke. You don't even give it up. You're like, no, story.
Still doing the story. Okay, so, but this is what the guy, he said that when they were raising the money, they'd go into these meetings with these with the people who had the money, which he said was weirdly a caricature of who you'd think would have the money, which is 60-year-old white guys,
right?
And he said, and they wouldn't talk to Natalie.
Oh.
They would only talk to him.
Oh, my God.
And he said it would drive him nuts. And then he said he said, doesn't that make you mad? And she just kind of went, yeah, sure. And then she kind of shrugged it off because she's used to it.
Yeah.
If there is a gentleman in a meeting, that gentleman gets addressed.
Yeah.
And the woman has to, you have to sort of,
Okay,
I have an
but
idea.
Wait,
Anyway.
back to the second show.
Oh, back to second show.
So, okay, so you're between shows. Do you have,
right.
So you're staying at the hotel so you can go up and get new pants, right?
No, it doesn't happen like that. It happens, what happened was I got my, here we go. I got my period yesterday, so I'm wearing, and I know that it's going to be heavy.
Yeah, you know it's happening.
I know it's happening.
Right.
My body is alive.
Right.
And so I wear the thing, and I'm on stage. No, it's right before I go on stage.
Oh,
like the
God.
feature's up.
Oh, man.
And I go to the bathroom and I'm like,
Oh, no.
holy fuck. The world has exploded in my pants. My pants have exploded. And
my
so then
God.
I stand on stage, legs completely together, the stool half in front of me.
Oh, no.
And the mic stand right to my left. So second show Saturday is me like in a prison of my own making.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sucks. Because that sounds like a sweet gig where you just want to enjoy it and not worry that you're going to be bleeding on the stage.
Right. And every time you sit down, like right now, I should probably be sitting on something because I have also gone
Kyle
through so
will
many.
clean it up.
Kyle
He doesn't mind. He doesn't mind.
He has a girlfriend. He knows. But I will say this is that the other thing about this week of stand-up comedy,
Yeah.
I go on the road with fancy people sometimes,
Right.
and everyone, I'm always treated pretty well now,
Right.
right? We're all, everyone's very nice.
Yeah.
I try to respect. It's a business,
Yeah.
right? So I'm happy to be there. They're usually happy to see me, but they're not. It's never anything amazing. And then
Right.
sometimes I go with Maria or with Brian Regan, and then it gets up a notch.
Sure.
This is the first week that I ever did where I was like respected.
Wow.
I had the most glorious, like peaceful week of stand-up comedy where I just showed up. I did the private on Wednesday in Davenport.
Oh, yeah.
It was Moline, Davenport, part of the Quad Cities. The other two cities, by the way, I couldn't name them. I think it's like Mick Betancourt, but that's a writer. And,
Yeah.
and a guy named, and then Rock Candy, probably
Yeah.
not.
Frank, I think Frank is one of the other cities.
And then one of the other cities is Frank. So but I'm in Davenport, and the woman who's running this very beautiful women's connection networking thing.
Yeah.
She picks me up at the airport. She's already checked me into the hotel.
Oh.
So she hands me the keys to my hotel room.
Oh, my God.
First of all, amen. God
Yeah.
bless you. Second thing she did.
So wait,
for
so
this-
the amenities are on their card? You don't have
Yeah.
to...
If I had wanted to rack them up, I could have done it.
Right.
But I didn't because I'm not an asshat.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then the other thing is for how like in private sometimes they want you to have dinner with them and you're like,
Oh, my
"No,
God."
no, I
Right.
can't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Can't do it. Guess this woman got two local women comics.
Yeah.
To come and sit with me.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, this is the greatest idea in the world. And
Yeah.
they were these very nice young women who live in Moline and do stand-up comedy and improv in Moline. And they've been doing it for like 2 or 3 years. So they're very new, but they looked funny and smart. And I was like, are they going to get to do sets? And she goes, no.
Oh, they're just there to entertain you.
They were there to
bring
entertain
you comedians to entertain
Exactly.
you.
And
This
to
is a great
and
gig.
they got free dinner, which is what we will do. We will go anywhere for possibly
God.
a free giant portobello
Yeah.
mushroom.
Yes.
And and the other thing is because of my eating habits, I couldn't eat anything. I had all my blood work done.
Oh, right.
Right, so
Yes.
I have to be off carbs and off sugar and off dairy.
Right.
So
It's weird. Parts of your life are hell right now, but it's happening. Your career is heaven.
my career, those sets were so beautiful. And then I got to Vermont.
Yeah.
And it was like it was like being spoon-fed chicken broth when you're sick.
right.
It was the nicest town.
Yeah.
It's on Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
And it was 75 degrees, and there was a farmer's market.
Oh, my
and I went to
God.
lunch with the two guys who opened for me, who were super sweet.
Yeah.
And really nice college kids.
Yeah.
Guys. And I had the greatest week of comedy, and
that's
it all
sweet.
exploded in my pants on Saturday night between the first and second shows. But other than that, it all worked out.
And that's not one of those things where sometimes you want to be really honest with the audience, but that's not one of them.
Oh no, that would have been super distracting
I'm
for the audience.
menstruating right now.
Right now, we should know I'm not ovulating. If I'm not ovulating, what am I doing? That's an Andy Kindler impression. If I'm not ovulating, what am I doing?
When I first started, I was like, a couple years ago, I was going through that, and I brought extra pants at Conan, and I needed them one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should always have. Why didn't I have extra
Yeah.
pants? I was actually because I also got bumped today.
Yeah.
Like it's 12:30 at night in my head.
Right.
And because
you flew all the way from Vermont to Los Angeles,
Yeah, and
and came here to do the podcast.
Yes, and I've been eating only meat, only meat all day long.
You just seem slightly aggressive to me.
Super yang, you guys. That's a lot of yang energy here. Anyway,
Well, I only have sourdough bread with butter and salt on it, so I'm very yang.
hey, you have to. What about this woman that emailed you?
Wait,
the stand-up.
who?
The stand-up woman who
What?
remember that woman who she said she wasn't going to have a baby?
Oh, no. It's our friend. It's okay.
I thought that was an email you got.
No. We just had a discussion. Oh, that's what the thing I mentioned that I wanted to talk to you or bring up.
Yeah.
Yes, at some point. But let's talk about our shows this week.
Oh,
first.
yeah,
we'll get to it.
Oh, you just came from doing a set.
Friggin' running the podcast now.
Now I'm running the podcast.
I talked about my shows, and now you tell about this email.
Right. I love that email part. Well, I was fascinated by it. But no, you just came from a set.
Oh, I was at the Improv. I did
That's
a Mother's
awesome.
Day set. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was like,
Happy Mother's Day, by the way. You're a mother.
yes. You know what? My son was with his father today.
Okay.
And I was given this option of either you don't get the kid till 8:30 at night, or
Okay.
you can do an hour and a half round trip and get him yourself. So I'm like, wait, so either I can drive for 90 minutes and then have my son with me all day, or I can be alone by myself.
And then you can bring him at 8:30.
Yeah.
And I'll see him all week when I am the
Yeah.
primary caregiver of this child.
It's
Fair
Mother's
enough.
Day. Yeah, so that happened. It was pretty sweet. I just had a super relaxing day.
That's good. That's and you got to reminisce about motherhood instead of actually having to be the mother.
Yes.
So, how was your mother?
My mom's fine. She wore clothes today.
Oh, this excellent. Is she been just PJing
genuinely
it?
pajama clad 24/7.
Okay.
But she stepped it up. She was making a video for the realtor that sold her house, so she put on makeup. It was pretty
You know what old
exciting.
ladies like sometimes is to get their hair done once a week.
She's not like that.
Or she's not one
she
of those
doesn't
ladies?
like anything.
Oh, right.
So last week
I'm going to keep trying to find a hobby for your mother.
last week I did Uncabaret, right?
Yeah.
And I was kind of nervous
right.
about it.
And we were talking about it, and I was going to do a drop in.
You didn't. Why didn't you?
Because Andy
Karen
Dick.
had Karen didn't
Kilgariff?
quit. Yeah, she didn't. She
She
wasn't
couldn't
there.
make it?
Yeah.
Oh, I could have picked up a set.
You know what's funny is, yeah, you could have picked up a set definitely because then Beth told me to go long, and I'm like, oh, good, I'm bringing in
Yeah.
now I have permission to bring in some
straight
some old
stand-up,
classics,
yeah.
right? But I remember I started in San Francisco, and this audience made me think about this because and this is a very broad generalization, but
I love it. I love a sweeping statement.
yes,
Do it.
gay male audiences have an empathy and an understanding of straight male comics that I don't think any other audience has.
They're a pretty great crowd.
Yeah,
They're a pretty
And
great crowd.
I remember the first times I would kill in San Francisco were at this place called Belden 22,
Yeah.
which was at 22 Belden Street.
Oddly enough, what a coincidence.
And it was like a happy hour stand-up.
Gay bar?
Yeah, a gay
Yeah.
bar. And I was like, you'd tell a joke and they'd be screaming, you'd be like, oh, fuck, this is amazing. And every single joke would hit like that.
Right.
And then you do like a bar in Petaluma and boo, or whatever.
Right.
But I remember just that feeling of that, like they're almost jumping in my skin. You know?
Right.
And it felt the same at Uncab because I think there was a predominantly gay male table, maybe the whole audience, but they were great. And it's those laughs where you like the laugh keeps going,
Yep.
and so you're actually going to be cutting them off if you tell the next joke. So you just sort of sit with it, and then magically, like in a brilliant mind, tags start spewing out of your brain, and you're like,
Oh, that's great.
That one. Yeah, so you can start chasing.
Did you
a few more.
record?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Have I listened?
No, but you got it.
I got it, and I will. I know I will.
I love that.
But yeah, so it was cool. I did feel like I
You got something out of it.
got a
for
little
sure.
bit out of it, yeah. And then I had shows. Then some other shows this week.
Yeah.
One show I was at the Lyric Hyperion. Simon,
Oh, right.
I forget his last name. He has a show, and Danielle Radford was there. And I got up on stage. And have you ever been okay until you hit the stage and then you realize I'm fucking tired?
Oh,
Like almost like the lights bake you, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't. And I could barely talk. It was
Right.
I was I
But
just
you
wanted
know,
to
one of the
curl
first
up.
things I
felt
learned.
terribly guilty for giving a poor performance.
Well, and that's the whole thing is that I was super nervous about that corporate.
Yeah.
Because I get nervous when they pay me fair.
Yeah.
To go someplace and perform for hundreds of people that are in the only thing wrong with the entire gig was the lighting. Every single person was lit. It was almost like it was a lot.
Yeah.
And they were perfectly nice people, but I wrote a set list. And I actually stuck it on the table, which I haven't done in a dozen years.
Wow.
Because I was so nervous about it. And I was like,
But you've headlined for recently, right? So you have
I
your
haven't done a
45
corporate.
down. So you're just doing totally different stuff? Or?
no, I was doing I did the Iraq stuff and the Afghanistan stuff. I did all this military stuff that I haven't done since I think Bread. I think my second an album ago.
Yeah.
And I did it because I was in Illinois.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, well, and the audience was made up entirely of women from their 30s to their 80s.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't know how
That's
conservative
not
they are.
automatically a good audience.
No, it isn't automatically. I mean, if it would have been made up of entirely gay men, it might have been the greatest, audience in the world. But they were a good audience. But all it is it's all in my head, right?
Yeah.
I'm spinning.
Yeah.
And so I felt bad. They didn't notice. They didn't notice that I had a set list. I never looked at the set list.
Yeah.
I looked at the piece of paper when I went to grab my coffee.
Yeah.
But that's it. But even having it there, I felt kind of shitty.
I used to always fold it up and put it in my pocket just in case.
Emergency pocket.
Yeah.
That's
I've never consulted.
Never consulted it,
Right.
but for some reason it's like a pacifier.
Yeah, it feels
it's like
good.
it feels good to just know you have your
Just
set
in
list
case
on you.
you have a
Like
stroke.
If you have a stroke, you can go, excuse me, one moment.
Yeah, you wouldn't
I can't feel my left arm.
You wouldn't call the paramedics. You'd reach for your set list.
Have you ever done anything like that where like, do you see the scar on my finger?
No, I do.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what happened?
My very first audition ever was for MTV.
Yeah.
In Minneapolis for Scott Hansen this is always
MTV's Half Hour Comedy Hour.
it was something. It wasn't even.
I'm still
real.
bitter I didn't get that.
Well, it wasn't even real, and
Yeah.
this has never been for MTV,
Right.
And so. It was my first ever audition, though, and the guy who used to own all the clubs in Minneapolis,
Scott Hansen.
would pit comics against each other.
That
And
always works.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
And then button push and then be a fucking tool bag is what he did. And
Yeah.
and he knew we were all broke, and he's a super big guy, right?
Yeah.
His wife passed away, very sad. They were like Jack Sprat. But for some
Who's
reason
Jack Sprat?
He would eat no lean. Anyway, it's an old
what?
Don't you remember?
Don't explain it like I'm the idiot for not getting. Oh, no lean. He would eat no lean. Okay.
Jack Sprat would eat no fat. His wife would eat no lean. Don't you remember?
No, I don't.
It's an old thing from.
I grew up in California.
I'm
He
100
didn't have rhymes.
You don't actually know this as I'm 300 years old. A lot of people think I'm just 50, but
you're
I'm
from
actually
very old OLDE England.
I'm from oldie England, and but he was a super big guy, weighed like 550, 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And when you were a poor comic, you would always hang out with him because he ate every 20 minutes and he would feed you.
Oh my God.
And so there was always at least 3 to 5 comics hanging out with him. One of the greatest stories.
It's nice that he was generous with his food. You wouldn't think.
No, he didn't like to eat alone.
Okay.
So he was super generous, and in many ways he was generous.
That's weird. I don't like to be seen while I'm eating.
Well, I don't think he thought it was a secret anymore. I think he was pretty much.
They're on to me.
I guess Seinfeld just ripped him a new one time. But
really?
right when Seinfeld came out, the TV show,
Yeah.
he played through Minneapolis. This is hearsay. I was not in the room. He
Yeah.
was playing the Walker Theater, and a bunch of 3 or 4 comics were there, and they were all in the green room after the show. And Scott Hansen was trying to talk Jerry Seinfeld into coming down to the Comedy Gallery to do another set.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry Seinfeld, picture this: Jerry Seinfeld is sitting sewing a button onto his shirt. Doesn't that sound like Jerry
Yes.
Seinfeld?
Yes.
So he's sewing, and he's going, "No, I don't. I just did a set. I don't want to do another set." And Scott's trying to talk him into it, and then finally says, "Well, do you want to just go get some ribs or something? You want to go get some dinner?" And without looking up from the sewing, I guess Jerry Seinfeld said, "Scott, you've eaten." Which is the meanest, funniest thing in the world. But here's what Scott Hansen did to me, which made me. The great thing about this scar on my finger, which looks like a zipper, is that I look at it and I know, losing your temper never works, because it was my first ever, and Scott knew he knew I was nervous about it. And he also knew I was broke. And he said, will you host the karaoke before the showcase? And I said, no, I'm in this showcase. You know, I gotta prep. I gotta do laps. You know, I'm 7 years old, whatever. And so he's like, I'll give you $20. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, but I'm going to stop 10 minutes before the show. And he goes, that's fine. So I do it. And then 10 minutes before the show, I go upstairs and I'm up and I'm just pacing and I'm falling. And a comic just keeps talking to me. And I was like, you got to give me a minute. You got to give me a minute. And then, like comics who don't have any social skills, this fucking guy is right behind me. I walk into Scott Hansen's office and Ken's right behind me and he's still talking to me. And I was like, Ken, you got to get the fuck away from me. And I turn around, I punch the wall.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I am not the hero of this story.
No, I think you are.
I punch the wall, and I don't punch the wall. I punch a framed poster of a John Wayne movie.
Oh, my God.
Which always framed with glass, by the way. The one... not the Horse Soldiers. I forget. Anyway, it's a comedy. It was a light comedy one, a western.
Sounds like it needed to be broken.
Yeah, but get this. So all the glass just rains down on my hand, and I grab a comedy gallery T-shirt and I wrap it around my hand, and I go to the bathroom and I'm washing it. And as I'm washing it, this is a big bodily function one for Jackie because I can see my bone.
Oh my God!
And I wash it and then I wrap the thing around it, and then I come out of the bathroom and I was like, do you think I can go up next?
I was going to ask you if you did a set. Did you?
They wouldn't let me. They said you have to go to the hospital and get stitches. God. And so I got 8 stitches on my finger and 8 stitches on my other, 4 stitches on my other finger.
When the stitches finished, was the show still going? If there was a lot of comics, you could have gone up last.
Maybe I could have gone up last. Here's the thing: is Kim from the Stage Benders. Do you know the Stage Benders?
Yeah.
The duo?
Yeah.
So Kim and Gust are in the Stage Benders. They're Minneapolis duo. And Kim, who lives here in LA, and I run into him sometimes at the Iliad bookstore in the Valley. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Kim drove me to the hospital, and I was like, I think I'm going to die. I think I'm losing so much blood, I'm going to die. And Kim says to me, you know, you got a lot of blood. You got a lot of blood. You're not going to die. Don't worry about it. And
This is a very touching podcast about blood loss. I was at
Please
Flappers
call the
this
show
weekend.
Blood Loss. Would you like to call the show Blood Loss?
Yes. I was at Flappers this weekend.
That's right. You did Flaps in Burbank.
Yes.
Regular headline set.
Oh, so fun.
Was it really fun?
You know what I was thinking too? Like, I think I said this once before. I had a boyfriend who would go with me to all these kind of little gigs I do in the city here in LA, and be like, and he said, you just spend all your time in bars. You spend your life in bars, and I could see from a regular person's point of view,
he
going
sees it
up
as a bar.
Yeah, and just going up in front of like 15 people, and you get kind of minor, whatever, and you're just like, okay, this new joke worked, this one I think will work. Like that's all you're trying to do is get a read on shit, right? So that when you have your weekend at Flappers or your weekend in Vermont, you can fucking crush. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's all to the. And so I'm going to say I'm a professional comedian, right? I've been doing so fucking
right, not a hobby.
4 shows, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
2 of them were really big shows, and then 2 of them were smaller shows that are fun in a totally different way, where I'm fucking around with the crowd and stuff. But all just like like this
fun.
is why I do this. This is why I'm alive. This is why I was born.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
like those shows like
yes.
that. And this is why it's neat to have done it for 30 years because I can kind of count on myself to be able to do this. Mm-hmm. And this is why I don't take 3 weeks off, because I don't want to lose this ability. And this is why I go to New York. And this is why I do this and this and this. I don't want to lose this ability. I don't want to not be able to do this.
Right.
And one day I won't be able to because I'll be elderly or something. But up until then, I want to be able to do this at will.
And you want to be able to produce. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
I just want to be able to go, and the other thing, like, when I did your show at the Improv.
We should talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about
that was a mess.
Let me just say in general, but when we're doing like these smaller sets, it's like I feel like I'm on someone else's show. I'm a guest on a show, and I'm doing this joke, and it's kind of like a dainty sort of trial and error. But when you're headlining your room, it's like, oh, this is my show. Yeah, this is my audience.
Yep.
And it's going down this way. And I feel much
Yeah.
more dominant and on top of it. And I kind of wish, I wish a guy someone that I would be dating would see a show like that and go, and he would know,
And he
like,
would get it.
that's why you do all these little shitty shows, because you can do this, because it gives you the ability to do this. I get it now, and I feel like I never get that from guys. I get them going to these little tiny rooms, and you're not going out with me on Valentine's Day because you got a spot.
That's a terrible example, but yes,
you know what I mean. It's because I can do this, and hardly anyone on earth can do this.
One of the first things,
very
Andy,
few people can do this, and I want to be able to keep doing it.
That guy exists because Andy Ashcraft said that to me.
Really?
Yeah. It was one of the first times he came and saw me do a shitty version of the second half hour of my one-person show.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't even done. And he had brought friends, and I was like, I don't know, friends? And his friends actually said to him, wow, she's kind of a mess. Because it was this whole thing about my dead mom and my stepmother and my sisters, and it was this thing. It was the female version of because the first one was about my dad.
Yeah.
And so he goes off with his friends, and I come home after doing it, and I'm writing myself notes, and I'm writing over what went well and what didn't go well, and that kind of works, and I can tighten that up, and I can line veto this and whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's a doorbell, and it's Andy, who has gone to Ralph's and bought me flowers. And he said it was amazing to watch me do a long set, because he had never seen me do a long set. He'd only seen me do the short sets.
Yeah.
And he was like, because he had seen me do Largo, which you have to do new stuff. This was back in the early 2000s. You have to do brand new stuff.
Yeah.
And then he saw me do this prepared piece, but not finished.
Yeah.
But he saw me do time, and he was like, I see what you're working towards.
It's almost like
that guy exists for you.
If I can make a swim analogy, it's like seeing seeing somebody in a
Please
workout
do.
where they have they're wearing a drag suit and they've got equipment on, and you're just kind of you're being held back, and you've been swimming 10,000 yards of workout, so you've been doing 20,000 yards a day, and you're fucking tired, and you look like shit in the pool and stuff, and then you get to a meet, you're tapered, you're shaved, you got your skin suit on, and you're fucking ready, and then you're fast, and it's like sometimes I feel like when you're showing your life to somebody, they only see you with two swimsuits on in a drag suit when you're exhausted.
That's a great analogy, actually.
Thank you.
I don't know anything about swimming, but I got it. So that's the amazing part there. You had a great set at that improv set. That improv show was
that was hilarious.
It was a happy mess, please.
Okay, so it's you, me, Karen Kilgariff,
Guy Branum, and
Guy
Maria
Branum, and
Maria
Maria Bamford. Okay, so Karen has to cancel because she went to a wedding.
Right, and she had forgotten about it.
First of all, let me just say, and this might be why I'm single. I was at my boyfriend ago. His best friend got married, so I went to the wedding. It was an afternoon wedding, and I had I was on the 8:00 show at the Improv, and I'm like, if I get there at 4, these are people I don't know. I'm spending 3 hours with them. That's plenty. That's all I can take. And I'm like, this is so reasonable.
Agree.
And I'm like,
agree.
I'm giving you 3 hours of my life. And he got so mad that I left to do a set. I'm like, but it's the Improv.
I don't think you get it.
understand.
You get to do the Improv all the time.
Yeah. And so the fact that she canceled for a wedding shows me that she's in a good relationship.
Right, she's an adult in some cases. So
Right.
yes, so she was like, okay, I can't. I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
She was certain she was going to make it. She was certain she was going to make it. And then she was like, I'm being ridiculous. I'm not going to make it.
Right.
So she told me about it day before, something like that.
So we get there.
And there was supposed to be a special guest who also canceled.
Oh, well, we dodged a bullet because I knew who that special guest
And
was.
it was dumb. He was going to be a
believe me,
not fun.
Yeah.
He would have been fun. People would have been psyched, but who cares?
Yeah.
We're
Fuck
talking
the audience.
Yeah, we're talking about Woody Allen, you guys. He was going to show up and he was going to remarry his daughter. No, I don't know him. I don't know who. We can't tell them who it is because it wasn't our show. But it wasn't. Yeah.
Okay. So I go up. I do blah blah. Then Guy Branum goes up, and
you kill. Guy Branum kills.
Yeah, but you're starting.
And you guys
pace.
are doing 15 to 17 minutes a piece.
Yeah, and
Maria was supposed to go first because she asked to go first.
Yeah. So she's not here yet, and you're
she's
sort of walking the room like a hunter, looking for a deer to shoot.
I'm doing laps. I've texted her. She's like, I'm supposed to be next. I'm so sorry. I'm doing a benefit over at UCB Sunset for doggies and kitties.
Yeah. So you go up on stage, and because you're hosting, so you're just like, all right, I'm going to do a longer chunk in between Guy and Maria, who's on the way. And
I had done 10.
You ended up doing, I don't know, 35 or something.
35, 40. Yeah.
And at one point, you asked if Maria was there, and you heard nothing, and you said, "Fuck it, I'm just going to do her act." And then you did. You did a bunch
I did
of
5
Maria's.
minutes. Did for 5 minutes of Maria's
It was
act.
great.
People were actually kind of excited about it. It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And then moments after you said thank you, good night, guess who walks in the showroom?
Maria Bamford walks in the showroom, who, by the way, was furious because she had told them that she needed to go up first.
Yeah.
And then, as Maria put it, she said, more famous people than me showed up, and they said I need to go up first.
Right.
And then somebody else famous showed up, and then they needed to go next. And quite honestly, they didn't need me.
Yeah.
They had famous people.
Yeah.
So I could have gone. And
Yeah.
and so she felt bad because she had, and a lot of those audience members had come to see her.
Yeah.
And so she felt like she had let me down. She felt like she had let those people down. And she was like, I don't understand. I explained to them I needed to go up first, and they didn't. And it started a half an hour late. What do you do with benefits? Because
I just did one tonight.
That's what that was?
Yeah.
Did it start on time?
It did start. It was the improv start.
Oh,
on
there
time.
you go. Yeah.
But
UCB usually does, but it was a half an hour
really?
late.
I don't know what I would do. I don't know.
One of the last benefits I did, for 3 years, I wouldn't do benefits after I did this benefit. It was a Green Party benefit.
Yeah.
And
Well, usually if it's at a club, it's just a set, but people are getting the money. Right?
Yeah,
Do you
right.
mean
but sometimes the benefits, I have 3 rules. I
Yeah.
have to have a place to park. I have to have a bottle of water or a soda.
Yeah.
And I have to know within 1 hour of when I am going up.
I don't have any rules, man. I need to get on point.
Well,
with my
it's
rules.
because you didn't have to sit there while the gubernatorial candidate for the Green Party, at one point, the show started an hour and a half late.
Oh, my
Everybody
God.
went. And
Yeah.
then I was there for almost 3 hours. And then the guy who ran it came up to me and said, the candidate has to get home. He's going to go up next. I'm really sorry you're not going to go up. And so,
No,
Jackie,
you didn't do a set at all.
oh no, I did a set. And I said, I'll be following the gubernatorial candidate. And he said, what? And I said, I didn't drive down to Culver City not to do a set.
Culver's at least 40 minutes from Van Nuys.
It's very far, very far, you
no,
guys.
you made the right
And
call.
I believe I paid for parking, and and
my
it took me
God.
almost 45 minutes to get a soda and not have to pay for
How
it.
does this party not run this country?
It is surprising. It is surprising that. Though I guess, did you hear what the Green Party candidate lady said about?
Jill.
Jill, what's her face said about
Dr. Jill?
Hillary? She said that Hillary wasn't a good mom. She said that she wouldn't vote for somebody who wasn't a good mom.
I'm
And
not
you're
a
like,
fan of Chelsea. But
of Chelsea Clinton?
yeah, she seems kind of tone deaf.
No, she said that Hillary was a bad mom.
I know, but Chelsea is her example, right?
Oh, the example of what kind
Yeah.
of mother she is?
yeah. Just
It just seems I don't know anything about.
No, I don't. That is a shitty thing. But
It just came out of the blue. It felt like.
yeah, it does. Yeah, that's unnecessary. But I don't. She reminds. It's
But
like
in general,
just that
she did
like
marry
she
that guy
took-
from Goldman Sachs.
Yeah,
That's
that,
a terrible
and
life choice.
And she took a job as a journalist or a correspondent on the Today Show that paid like $600,000, and it's like,
Didn't
you're
Ronald
not
Reagan's
a
son do that?
journalist.
Didn't
Ron Reagan Jr.?
Yeah, didn't Ron Reagan Jr. do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, he had one of those talking head on a news show.
He might have actually tried to do stuff like that before. You're interrupting my Chelsea Clinton rant with Ronald Reagan Jr. stuff, and I won't
They're
have
the
it.
same person.
No, she just. I'm not a. I don't think the Obama girls are going to be like that.
Oh no, I don't either. I don't
that's
know
all.
what they'll be, but it's interesting that they're young women now. Because
Yeah.
8 years ago they were children,
Yeah.
and adorable children, but now they're like 15 and 17 or something. One of them's going to go to Harvard, right?
Yeah, Malia's taking a year off, and then
Yeah.
she's going to Harvard.
Oh, here was the other thing about corporates I was going to tell you is that I always pretend that
I like a little first daughter talk, and then we go right back to comedy.
right back to because the thing I have so much comedy in my head,
Right.
So I always pretend that I killed.
Oh, at a corporate?
corporates.
Yeah. Pretend like it went well. Yeah.
Yeah. Even, I mean, because I doubted myself because of that whole thing.
Right.
The end of that story is I was like, oh, yeah, that went really well.
The end of which story?
The end of which, the story about me having my set list on the thing that nobody fucking noticed but me.
Yeah.
That was my internal monologue.
Yeah.
That's the committee meeting going on in my fucking brain box.
Right.
But outside, oh, yeah, I was amazing. It was hard to be me.
Yeah.
This type of thing. But do you do that too? For corporates
Yeah. I don't do a lot of corporates.
Yeah, me neither.
In fact,
yes,
I on Wednesday I did a show that I didn't realize was a clean show. I'm turning your phone over.
No, that's what the list is.
Let's just have a conversation, Jackie. This bitch is scrolling and looking. I've got two eyes. You can look in them, okay?
I'll look deeply into your eyes. Tell me about your weird clean show that you had to do on Wednesday for no reason.
All right.
Why was it clean?
Well, I didn't realize it was clean. And I remember being on stage going, I don't always say fuck when I do this gig. But I guess I just was, I don't know, I was sloppy, you know? And I think you can never tell with Christians, though, what is a trigger. Is it the word fuck, or is it that I'm a single mom with it? You know what I mean? You don't know if it's a content, or if you can tell me no swearing, then I can tell you a bunch of offensive jokes to Christians that are technically clean, you know, and perfect. Mm-hmm. But then the booker, because I was booked to do another thing 2 weeks later. It's not big money. It's no big deal. But he's like, yeah, I forgot to tell you. There were some evangelical Christians in the crowd, and they're booking the next one, and they had to take you off. I haven't suffered that kind of penalty in a long time.
Right. Well,
it's so odd.
Was it devastating? You're not going to make $75 out in Camarillo?
Yeah.
Or some fucking thing?
That was a pretty good guess.
Well, allow me to tell you about one-nighters in the Los Angeles area and how Jackie Cation would like to know who books all of them. I am available, you guys.
I was told in confidence, so of course I'm going to say it on this podcast. No, I was told about a club. I won't name the club so you can't figure out who it is, but a comic who was deep in the club, said that I was hosting a show, a clean show, and no one had told me. It was like a clean corporate show, and I had done abortion jokes. Well, you know why you don't tell somebody? Because you don't want to pay them extra money. Okay.
Right, because you're going to have to.
I must have done an abortion joke. And I know me in New York back at that time, it was like nonstop. Right. Yeah. And I cost the club like $10,000. They never told me, but I did stop getting as much work. And I was like, I didn't know why. And I thought, you start making up all the reasons why, and then that harms everything. It's like, I wish, I appreciated this booker saying, I'm real sorry, and I should have told you. And yeah.
Well, just tell. My brain's attached to my mouth. Unless, like this podcast, I'll say whatever I want because it's a podcast and it's ours.
Yeah.
But, if you've hired me to come, that's why I wrote that set list so meticulously.
Yeah.
And what I did was I brought all 3 transcripts of all 3 of my albums.
Oh, my God. You are fucking prepared. That's
because
great.
I wanted to read through those jokes to make sure that I could remember them, right?
Yeah. I do that too. I have on Evernote, I have individual jokes saved on Evernote. Okay. And then if I can't remember, I just talk it out.
I took advantage of Dan Telfer when he first moved here and paid him to type out transcripts of my albums because I didn't know he was broke, but I knew he was broke, and I was like, "Do you want to make $100 per item?" And
wow. So per joke?
No. Per album. So he did my 2 albums and my half-hour special, and I paid him $300.
That's great.
So it ended up being like $25 an hour.
You know what a dream would be? To be able to afford to have someone transcribe all of your sets so that you could just read them at the end of the week, what you did, instead of listening to them.
Amazing.
Oh, God.
And then you could word find.
We should hire interns.
Poor bastards. Let's leave people alone. And but the great thing about having those 3 is because I decided I'm going to do a new album
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Awesome.
tape one in December, I think.
That's great.
The next time I'm at Acme.
So how much time do you want for it?
I like to have at least 45.
And how much do you have now?
I don't know yet. I have a set list rocking. I came up with a set list, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the next couple of months working on, because I know I have at least 25 or 30 that works, that isn't on any of the albums.
Yeah.
And what I want is another 25 that of all this new stuff that needs punchlines.
Yeah.
And needs to be tighter. So that's the great thing about it.
You could do that by December.
No, it'll be fine because most of those bits they're very long.
Yeah.
And they just need to be tightened up. And there's probably 40 minutes of that. So if I cut it in half, that's 20.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I got, well, first of all, like today I was a little annoyed because, and they corrected their tweet, but Splitsider,
Yeah.
Ali Wong has a special on Netflix.
Right.
Which is...
She's 7 months pregnant?
Yeah. And so Splitsider, and I think I've seen this too, then I remembered going, wait a minute, Kira did one too.
Kira
the
Sultanovich.
first woman to do and it's like, well...
They were both pregnant.
They were both 7 months pregnant, yeah.
Which is weird.
That's unusual.
Talk about a weird zeitgeist.
But they both almost released them at the same time. And I love Ali Wong. She's so funny.
And hers is on Netflix. Tell people,
Yes,
hers is on Netflix. Where's Kira's? Amazon?
I think it's on Amazon. I think she kind of did that release where you can find it everywhere.
iTunes?
Yeah, like
iTunes
yeah,
and
yeah,
Amazon.
Yeah.
And
but it wasn't.
Hulu?
It's not like when Netflix brands it. They'll take out a billboard and stuff, and when they don't, then you have to tell everyone. You know what I mean? And it was just it kind of infuriated me that the comedy media didn't know that Kira had done one or hadn't reviewed it or wasn't paying attention to it. And it's like,
and they only knew about Allie's?
Yeah, and it's like, if you're only going to pay attention to the specials that are given out from the gatekeepers, all of everyone else who's basically an indie artist. I mean, I would think you'd also want to pay attention to those people. And someone who put $50,000 of her own money, Kira's own money, in a special,
right?
That's someone who probably really believes, but just believes in this shit too.
Yeah.
Like it's not like someone's done stand up twice and they put out an album. I mean, you ever been on a gig where the MC has like an hour out and you're like, dude, you've been doing it 2 years. You can't make an album of every joke you ever wrote.
Please just sell a T-shirt.
It's frustrating that there are so few women that they go through the eye of that needle. There's so few. So if you're only going to pay attention to the women that are seen on Netflix or HBO,
so what did
you're
Splitsider
missing
do?
a million of them.
So what did Splitsider do?
I don't. Well, they just tweeted about and the
Allie.
article about Allie was implied that she was the only and maybe the only woman that ever had a baby. It's that whole thing of wow, women are funny, golly, and no, there's history here. Yes, okay, whatever. But then I guess Jen Kirkman, because I was tweeting, and then Jen Kirkman said they corrected and stuff like that. So it's cool, but it's just frustrating.
It is frustrating. It's just because you only know who you know, right?
Yeah.
So there's so many circles. Like, we know more women comics than most guys do.
Yes.
And more white guys know more white guy comics.
Right.
And more black comics know more black comics than I do.
Sure.
And you have to, but if you're Splitsider, or if you're the comics comic or the Comedy Bureau, or if you want to be the voice of stand-up comedy, you have to make that extra effort.
You do, yeah.
And
you also
sometimes
have to
they do and sometimes they don't.
You realize that not everyone is getting plucked by the media giants,
But how weird is it that both of them did 7 months and they recorded hour-long specials?
I know.
Kira Sultanovich has one. Ali Wong has one. You should go see them both.
Yeah, they're both
for
great.
sure.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to do Comic of the Week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Barbara Gray.
Love Barbara Gray.
Saw Barbara Gray I did a costume last week. I did a cosplay comedy thing.
Yeah.
And she dressed as Deanna Troi.
She's one of you.
Oh, she is. She's one of my people. Yes, she is a dork. She's member of the Dork Forest.
I love it. She's very physical on stage.
Yes. First of all,
there's not a ton of female
awesome.
comics that do a lot of physical movement,
right?
And she really gets out there with her body, and it's really cool.
Yeah, she gets big on the stage.
Yes,
she moves around a lot.
Yeah,
it's
I
pretty
like
great.
it a lot.
she's clearly not menstruating. She can move around like a person. And she's
Maybe
covered.
she moves more when she's menstruating. You don't know about Barbara.
Or maybe
Gray.
she has better coverage. But the weirdest thing is she did the cosplay comedy thing was hilarious. It was the first one ever. So everybody who went up, we all went too long. Nobody had a closing joke.
Yeah.
And I did, I think, 5 or 6 minutes. I should have done 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I was Xena the Warrior Princess. And
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it was the costume it's the only costume I own.
Yeah.
And then Andy had bought props from that.
That's shocking to me. I would think your house is all costumes.
Yeah, Andy's. They're all
okay.
Andy's costumes. I don't have any costumes, but that's the only costume I had. And then Andy took one of the like a frisbee, and he turned it into a chakram, and we painted
what?
it into the circle thing that she throws and fights people, whatever. And then I had a sword, and it was pretty
Please
cool.
get back to Barbara Gray.
Okay, Barbara
I'm
Gray's
melting.
amazing.
I'm melting. I'm like that witch at the end of.
She did the greatest set as Deanna Troi.
Oh, that's
real
cool.
jokes. Joke.
Really?
She had the set of the night.
Oh, that's awesome.
And her regular stand-up is awesome, of course. So fine, it's Gray, Barbara Gray,
Barbara
you guys.
Gray.
Do
Yeah.
it. Get out there. Great LA comic.
So I got a. So my special.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you had meetings in New York.
I did, and well, a couple trips back, I kind of taped some like intros and outros, and I was talking about it, kind of like that, we just stuff you do.
Yeah.
They would ask me a question, I would answer it, and kind of talk about that time with my dad, and I still couldn't see what they wanted to do. I was like, I think with the idea that Cringe had for it, and then they sent me a trailer, and it's like so good.
Oh, they did it.
Yes. It's a trailer and now we're going to use it to try to kind of sell it. And it will
it's a
be
little
different.
sizzly
It's a little, and I sent, like, Pardo loved it, and Pardo fucking hates everything.
But that's
My
awesome.
sister loved it.
Oh,
Tammy
that's great.
Joe who produced it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I fucking get it now. I couldn't, sometimes you can't see.
Right.
You need somebody else to go, no, I know what this can be.
Right.
Let me throw in these other
Perspective.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone who isn't sitting on top of all the footage.
Yes.
That's great.
But yeah, and so now I kind of feel hopeful.
Are you revitalized?
Yes, I am. That
Excellent.
maybe it will find a buyer.
Right.
And
I've given up on Horcrux. It's just available on Comedy Film Nerds. You guys, guess what?
Here's the
This will
thing.
make an excellent Horcrux is available on
Yes.
Comedy Film Nerds.
has anyone reviewed it? Like that's
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vulture was top 5
Oh,
comedy
my
album.
God.
It was top 5 comedy specials of the year.
That's great.
It was incredibly well received. But nobody gave a shit. But the thing is that's why I decided to do a new album, because I recorded it.
Yeah.
It'll be 3 years in December.
That's great.
It was 2013 Christmas week. So and I like to do a new album every 3 years.
Yeah.
Some people like to do them every year. Some people like to do them a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
But I want the jokes to be funny.
Yeah.
And so my last 2 albums have been actually very well critically received because of the amount of time I put into them.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah.
That's the theory I'm going with. It's Never Gonna Be Bread.
Yeah.
Top 10 comedy albums of the year on Amazon.
Wow.
The year it came out. So that was 2010. And then 2013 was Horcrux, and then hopefully I'll record in 2016 the new one.
Nice to get someone big to distribute it.
Right, but I want all the money.
I know.
So that's why I don't self-publish. Stand Up Records out of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
They do most of it, but I get all the radio play money, the sound exchange money.
Yeah.
Because I wrote all the jokes.
Yeah.
It turns out.
Yeah.
And it's Dan Schlissel is a good egg.
Yeah.
And he presses record and he likes to massage audio, but I pay him for it.
Yeah.
And I pay him a fair wage. And then what he gets is he gets a cut of the downloads from
cool.
iTunes for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then we talk about doing for Bread, I still let that go. He's still doing distribution on that, and it's fine. And we could split that money forever as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But it's the radio play that I get the royalties on all of it.
Yeah.
And that money's good. That money's really good,
I want to get
And
I just want to
Mike-
get. Yeah.
Mike Kaplan has like a dozen albums. I'm sure he's making a real living
Yeah.
on his royalty money.
Right.
And it just keeps going. you want to talk that thing with Maria cracks me up.
Go.
Maria and Baron Vaughn.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
yeah. I didn't read the article.
So Maria's TV show is coming out on Netflix.
Lady Dynamite.
Yeah,
Yes.
on the 20th. And so everybody's interviewing her. And so she interviewed Baron Vaughn, who is also blowing up and having a great year. And Baron Vaughn, super funny.
Yeah.
And he's on the third season
Of Grace and
and
Frankie?
Frankie and Grace.
Yes.
Grace and Frankie on
Yeah.
Netflix with Lily Tomlin. And,
Right.
Yeah. And so they're interviewing each other. And at one point, Baron Vaughn says that he has a podcast with Leonard Maltin. And Maria...
Leonard Maltin?
Yeah.
And Baron Vaughn?
Yeah, talk
That's
about
nuts.
movies. They talk about movies.
Oh, my God. I had no idea.
Yeah. What a great idea, right?
Sure.
Because Baron Vaughn can riff, and he loves movies.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love movies? And Leonard Maltin knows more about movies than anybody.
Sure.
And so Maria says, you making any money on it? And Baron Vaughn is like, he talks around it. He doesn't answer it because nobody wants to talk about money.
Right.
Maria does.
Yeah.
I will. I'll
Yeah.
talk about money. And so, Baron tells the answer, which is the answer, which is when you are with a different network, some networks handle it differently. I'm with Dork Forest is with All Things Comedy, and they get me advertising revenue. And
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've gotten free sheets. I've gotten cash. I've gotten some money. Sure. I got a TiVo. Anyway, a lifetime TiVo. And so I'll take it. And the Dork Forest, I will take what I can get. So, and then like Feral Radio,
Yeah.
Feral Audio or whatever, or Maximum Fun
Yeah.
or Nerdist.
Yeah.
It's all different, you
Yeah.
know? And then the profit sharing can be different, or they can just pay you outright, or there's no money involved at all.
Right.
And Maria then goes into what she made last year in this article.
Oh, wow.
She's like, so my company made $1 million last year, and I paid myself $300,000.
Wow.
And so we paid off the house, and then Scott and I, her husband, have decided that we want to save a certain amount for retirement, right?
Yeah.
So, but other than that, we want to give away the rest of it.
Wow.
And so we gave away $50,000 last year to different things. And then on the road, I go on the road and I bring Jackie on the road, and I make $5,000 to $10,000 a night for the thing. And then I split that into thirds.
Wow.
And I give Jackie a third, and I keep a third, and then we give. And then the other thing is so Jackie does a podcast, and she told me she makes about $400 a month on the podcast. And I'm like, holy shit. And you can, in this article, it is the greatest. It's on Vulture. It's Baron Vaughn and Maria talking to each other. You can almost hear the silence from Baron Vaughn
my God.
in the written word.
Right.
Where he's like, oh my God, she's naming numbers. She's talking about actual dollars and cents. And yes, I do. I have an Amazon banner on my website, so I make like $250 a month on that, and then
What
I make
the fuck? Seriously?
yeah,
Wow.
somewhere between 200 and sometimes like Christmas I can make 400.
Wow.
All it is a portal to Amazon.
Yeah.
And then they just order, and then I get a kickback. So
Wow.
Whatever, and then I get donations, and that equals approximately $400 a month, and then I pay my audio. I underpay my audio guy. A lot of people.
Fine.
The worst. Patrick Brady loves the Dork Forest, and so when I started pre-recording it, he had just graduated from college with a film degree in New York, and he emailed me and he said, "Can I fix it? It's killing me. Listening to it is killing me." And I was like, "I don't have any money. You can have all the merch and free tickets all you want." And he's like, "Yeah, I just need to fix it." And so I sent him merch and I get him tickets. And so last year was the first year I could pay him. And I pay him $25 an episode. But other people pay their audio guy $50 an episode.
Wow.
And so I'd love to be able to do that.
Sure.
So last year I gave him 12.
What do we pay Kyle?
I don't know. Well, Nerdist pays.
Yeah, I take 50.
It's 50. Yeah. It's 50 an episode. Okay, so Kyle gets 50 an episode, which I think is the going rate.
Yeah.
And so I would love to do that. And so, but here's what I do try to do is the first year I paid Patrick Brady all at once.
Yeah.
Because wouldn't you rather get $1,200 than $50? Because you will blow $50, but $1,200 you might throw at a credit card.
Right.
And the guy's 25 years old, 27 years old. So, and so that's, but how hilarious is it that she's just
great.
like, yeah, this is what I made. And I remember a couple of years ago on her album, she wanted to put how much money she made in the liner notes. And her manager was like, no, that's weird.
Liner notes.
And what made me laugh is Maria said, "Yeah, you called me weird," and I was like, "Yeah, turns out I'm a little weird."
It's making you a lot of money, buddy.
And it's almost her modus operandi is to be a little odd. But how weird! I mean, people are so freaked out about money. You got to tell people how much you make because then everyone knows what to aspire to.
You don't have to tell. Like I would tell you off mic. Mm-hmm. I have
a fair amount of money. It's all
no, that's not what I was going to say.
That's what I want you to say. Laurie Kilmartin's doing okay, you guys.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I have a guild writing job.
Right. So people can find out how much a basic
Yeah, you
union
actually
is.
can.
You
Yeah.
can find out what a basic guild union job pays, and then extrapolate
late night cable.
Late
It's
night
a special rate.
Yes. So look into it, folks. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But for me, it's road because it all comes back to road work.
Yeah.
Where what you could expect to make as a headliner on the road for a week, Thursday,
Right.
Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
It might, they call it summer money and it's
Right,
$600 bucks.
right.
Or it's a fair rate where it's, drivable and it's $850 or
Yeah.
$800.
Yeah.
Or it's just a basic, which is usually about $1,200 to headline. And then $5 to $6 to feature, and then $150 to $200 to MC. And it hasn't changed since 1989.
It's horrible.
Even
It's
though
horrible.
gas has gone up and everybody's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful. I wanted to, when you were scrolling.
Yes. Do you want me to scroll?
No.
Okay.
But I was, I was thinking because a friend of mine, a comedian friend of mine, we were talking and she's like, I kind of learned from you not to have kids. and I go, I was like,
wow.
that's an
As a
interesting
choice?
lesson. Yeah, or that it's very, and I didn't go. We didn't talk,
Too far into
long
it?
into, and I wasn't sure. Like, yeah, in a way,
Why?
it did divert a lot of me.
Oh, because of your career.
Take away my focus. Yes, but I also was thinking that the more you, as a comic persona, right? We're all personas on stage. The more you are trapped in situations, the funnier you are, And when it's something that's not of your own making, like when I have a kid, I am fucking forced to raise this kid.
Right.
Now I'm fucking forced to take care of my mother. It's almost, you personally are being pinned to the ground by things, but the way you fight back with comedy, it's a little sharper than, like, I remember when I was in New York and I moved to Harlem and I was like, oh, these jokes about Harlem, and it's like, yeah, but I could have moved. I didn't have to move. It was a situation I put myself in,
right?
And so it was a little precious in a way, my whatever my jokes were or my complaints about living there.
Because of the decision you had made.
It was a decision I had made, and I could make another decision. But now I'm really backed in a corner, and I think
I love that you think of it. I thought you were going to go a different direction.
No, but I think when a comic is backed in a corner, whether it's by your appearance, like if you look at like Jim Norton, right? He is backed into a corner in a way where men that look like him, don't get a lot of pussy. Normally, right? So he has this, I think...
I don't know how to agree with that, but okay.
I think... No, he's not classically handsome. He doesn't look like John Hamm, okay?
Right.
So that guy...
He looks like a dirty version of Jimmy Pardo.
I don't see that one remotely.
They're both the size of Mishu, the world's tallest, tiniest man,
Whoa.
which is a Paul F. Tompkins joke. Anyway, but they're both tiny men.
Why are you roping Jimmy Pardo into this?
I'm not.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But what I'm saying is when you have something that's your fury is based on something you can't change, right? So if you're a not a great looking guy in a world where women want great looking guys, that's a certain kind
angle.
of rage. That's
Okay.
a Sam Kinison rage. That's a Jim Norton rage. When you're a woman who would rather be alone and is forced to take care of two needy people, that's a rage. And so I do think, like, when you have these things pressing, if you have a physical disability, if you are a minority in a country that treats minorities as less than, you have a real thing to push back against.
So the writing is a pushback thing. So that's how you see kind of adversity or change.
I feel like before I had a kid, what I was talking about was sort of, it was like me on a stroll, noticing things in life. I don't like this.
Yeah.
And as opposed to
I don't think you were ever that comic.
being
but...
in a like pushed in a ditch.
Right.
And being fired at constantly,
right? Making
it's like,
peanut butter sandwiches almost against your will.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So
it is comedy gold. I would say that. I thought you were going to say it was going to be comedy gold in a different way.
No. I mean, it's like persona gold in a way, where I feel like I know myself so much better now as a comic because I've had these especially my son just really carve me in a certain way. Where it's almost easier to write material because I know me so well. When I was looking at seeing some younger female comics this weekend, and I'm like, I remember that fucking. You're like, who am I? What am I on stage? Am I sexy on stage or am I hard on stage? Like it's that whole who am I?
So
on
what are you
stage?
seeing in your son? Are you seeing sort of a mirror image of yourself, or you're seeing what kind of person you are from him?
From my son?
Yeah. Are you getting like what? How are you getting something from him that shows you who you are as a persona? I don't know. I don't mean that I'm getting it from him. I'm getting it from the situation of being trapped. Okay. So
I'm saying where having a kid,
and your mom and all these things.
Yeah. Yes, it derailed some things, but it also sharpened things that I would not have been able to sharpen on my own.
I genuinely thought you were going to say, I just love having him so much.
Why would I say that?
That I wanted to write these jokes that came from this whole new experience.
You seem insane to me right now.
The insane one. You're the thing is like
I'm living in the shit. I know it's real. All right. You and your fairy tale ideas.
It's a new experience, and so it's a whole life. That's what I thought you were going to go into because I've always wanted a whole life because I want to do stand-up comedy almost to the exclusivity of everything else. Right. But I can't be a whole person if all I am is a comic. Right? Which is why which is why to be married and to have another person in my life where I have to fucking, think about him and try to be there for him like you have to be there for your son and for your mom.
No, you could divorce him.
I could divorce him, but I don't want to.
Right,
I want a whole life, right? And I love him, and we are in this together now. So we are in the shit together, I guess. Except for that it is, but I don't see it as shit. I see it as a golden opportunity to learn stuff.
But yeah, you chose that. I think
it's a different angle.
You're coming at life with like a desire for a round life, for a well-rounded life.
Yes.
And I'm coming at it of, I want a very narrow life, and I'm all these circles are being forced on me.
Right,
and
that's
forced to have this round life that I don't want. Like I'd rather be just obsessed with comedy only,
Right. Well, I mean, I only talk about comedy, and it's so weird, but having someone who doesn't only want to talk about comedy in my life, has made me write things, made my act better.
Definitely, yeah.
Right. So, friend of yours who doesn't want to have a baby, have kids, do whatever. Get yourself in a situation. You may love those children.
It was one of our ladies of the week.
Oh,
so,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So go through it. So we're at an hour.
Okay.
So
shut it down. Shut it down like our uteruses are shutting it down.
Right, we're wrapping it up. That's the other reason I got to do a new album is because I have that joke about 47-year-ld women.
You got to get
with the eggs.
Oh, I know.
Eggs,
I want to get this joke on Conan before I turn 51. Because then I'll be lying.
Exactly. Right, it's hard to live the lie on stage. It's hard. It's a hard road to hoe.
Yeah.
But let's do it again next week.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.